Hey y'all, Eric here with another LGBT history moment video. Decided to do this one a little earlier so I wouldn't be caught it later in the night with like less than an hour to go before the day is over. So today's is LGBT history moment for October 21st, day 21 in the month. And so today, because of the climate and what's going on, the attacks on gay marriage, the attacks on military personnel, particularly transgendered women, gay men, and lesbians, benefits being taken away, trans health being an issue, and all of that. Well, I just want to remind people that this is not the first time the government has ever done this. No, this is not new. Our turn has come around apparently, but this is not new. And that is the focus of today's video on something that occurred in the 1950s called the Lavender Scare. Some of you who are my age range, I mean, even in my age range, and I'm 63, um, child of the 60s, teenager of the 70s, and adult of the 80s. I don't remember ever hearing about the Lavender Scare until I became an adult. But it essentially, the Lavender Scare, right around World War One and Two, and even the President of the United States at the time, Dwight Eisenhower, was in it and issued an executive order to remove homosexuals from government. Yes, and we'll dive into that. I don't have any pictures, but the principals in the Lavender Scare who were investigating people were Joseph McCarthy and Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn has been the subject of multiple documentaries and interviews for people who knew him at that time as being a gay man and a um, and wearing female dresses and things. Not a transgender, but a transsexual. So let's just dive in. Let's just dive in. So I'm actually just going to read it because I got a lot of information. So I'm reading from Wikipedia, and I got this from the LGBT history website. So the Lavender Scare was a moral panic about homosexual people in the United States government, which led to their mass dismissal from government service during the mid 20th century. It contributed to and paralleled the communist, I'm sorry, the anti communist, paralleled the anti communist campaign, which is known as McCarthyism and the Second Red Scare. Gay men and lesbians were said to be the national security risks, and communist sympathizers, which led to the call to remove them from the state employment. It was thought that due to the stigma around homosexuality, gay people were vulnerable to blackmail, which could lead to a breach in national security. Lesbians were less risk of persecution than gay men, but some lesbians were interrogated and lost their jobs. The Lavender Scare normalized persecution of homosexuals through bureaucratic institutionalizing of of homo, hom, of homophobia. Former U.S. Senator Alan K. Simpson wrote, quote, "The so-called Red Scare has been the main focus of most historians of that period of time. A lesser known element, and one that harmed far more people, was the witch hunt McCarthy and others conducted against homosexuals. So I'm going to skip some of this. Now here is the executive order. Executive Order 10450. In 1953, President Eisenhower signed Executive Order 10450, which set security standards for federal employment and barred homosexuals from working in the federal government. The restrictions set in place were caused for hundreds of gay people to be forcibly outed and fired from the State Department. The executive order was also the cause for the firing of approximately 5,000 gay people from federal employment. This included private contractors and military personnel. Not only did the victims lose their jobs, but also they were forced out of the closet and thrust into the public eye as lesbian or gay. Specifically, Truman's loyalty program had been extended through this executive order. Sexual perversion was added to the list of behaviors that would keep a person from holding a position in government. There were many new regulations and policies put in place to detect and remove any gay, lesbian, and bisexual people. The new procedures to search out homosexuality and homosexuals were frequently used to interview and look for signs of sexual orientation. I know something about that. They also looked at places these individuals frequently visited, such as gay bars, and they even found people guilty by association. If their friends or family showed signs of being homosexuality, they might also be suspected. By the mid-1950s, similar repressive and oppressive policies had gone into effect in the state and local governments, which extended the prohibition of employment of lesbians and gay men to cover 12 million workers, more than 20% of the United States labor force, who now had to sign oaths attesting to their moral purity to get or to keep their jobs. Had to sign an oath. Does that sound something like the Trump loyalty? Asking schools, colleges to sign the loyalty thing. Asking government officials to sign a loyalty oath. Does that sound? And during his first administration, all the Republicans took a loyalty oath in public. But let me go back up when I said I knew something about this. That there was a test. And so back in the day, when I lived in Charlotte, I worked for Cracker Barrel. I was a waiter. And my boyfriend, Sam, was a waiter as well. And there were, I guess, equal gay people and straight people on the wait staff. The hostesses were female and all of them were straight, had boyfriends to pick them up and everything. But here's what happened. So we did not get a notification, but Regional came to the store that I worked at, right off of 85. In fact, it's still there. And all of us were interviewed. And if I remember correctly, the managers who knew that we were gay, because I was out and my boyfriend was out. I technically have never been in the closet. never, because I didn't come out to myself until I was in college. And I probably could say that I was in the closet when my senior year in high school, but I kind of knew what I was doing, but I probably would have said that I was bi and not gay. But hindsight is always 2020. So I mean, I was gay. I was. I dated girls. I did. I didn't have sex with girls until I was in college, but I dated girls in high school. But anyway, we were one by one brought into the office and sat down, and we were asked one question. One question. I got it before Sam did and some of our other friends. I was the first one. And I sat down, and the question was, Eric, are you gay? And I didn't think about it. I didn't. I'm like, I believe I even asked, why do you want to know? And because I had never seen this person before. But I asked the question, and they said, if I remember right, why I'm asking is not the issue. The issue is, yes or no, are you gay? And I was tired and I was annoyed. So I just told him, I said, yes, I am gay. I am gay and have been gay since I started working here, and will continue to be gay after I move on. And he said, thank you for your honesty, and gave me an envelope, asked me to open it. It had my name on it, and it was my termination letter and a check for my 401k or some type of account that they had set up for us, something like that. And then I looked up and I said, I'm fired. And he said, yes. And I knew in that moment that there was nothing I could do except get up, go out, wait on Sam, because we were living together at the time and we had roommates, and wait for him to come out, which he did, and he got fired as well because he told them the truth. I mean, he really had no choice, honestly, because people knew that we were dating each other. They knew it. And we weren't the only ones who got fired. And I had never, in fact, since then, and granted, this was in the 1990s, I have never been back to Cracker Barrel. Now, they've changed their tune since then. They have, because of that whole logo fiasco. The logo change fiasco, I was researching and saw that Cracker Barrel has changed their tune, unlike Chick-fil-A. I have never bought anything from Chick-fil-A, ever. And again, I'm 63. I have never bought anything from Chick-fil-A. I mean, I can go down the line between Pizza Hut and Pizza Inn. When Pizza Inn was still in business, we always went to Pizza Inn because the Pizza Inn donated to Democrats. Pizza Hut donated to Republicans. The Spaghetti Warehouse and the Spaghetti Factory, same thing. We always went to the Spaghetti Warehouse because they donated to the Democrats, and the Spaghetti Factory donated to the Republicans. And of course, at that time, there weren't parent companies. As you know, the parent company sends money to both parties. They do not, most of them don't send money to unaffiliates or independents. They don't. It's rare that they do. But, so I know a little bit about the Lavender scare. And we're in that climate now. We are. We're in that climate. And so today, I'm reminding people about the first Lavender scare and what happened to almost 12 million LGBT people during that era. And the President of the United States started it. Hashtag elections have consequences. Hashtag we all should be out, but for those of you who can't be out, I'm out for you. I will speak for you and on your behalf. And then finally, resistance is not futile. See you all in the next one. Can never find my mouse. There.